Welcome to Menopause, Marriage and Motherhood, a podcast about that time of life that tends to take us all by surprise. I'm your host, Karen O'Connor. Let's get right into it.
So Marianne and I are going to start this podcast by giggling, which is how we spend most weeks when we talk on the phone. I'm talking today to one of my closest friends, Marianne LeCoeur, who started off talking about and teaching French chic and French style, and has kind of morphed into teaching people is not the right word, educating people on how to eat well and still lose weight and be healthy. So welcome, Marianne, and thanks for being on my podcast again.
Hello, Karen, and thank you very much for having me on your podcast.
Oh, you're so welcome. And this is a conversation we've been talking about having for a very long time, because we've been having conversations about the way French people eat compared to the way, most other Western countries eat, and how do French women stay slim. So tell me how you created this, because it's not just a program. You've got like groups and you do all sorts of things to go with it, doesn't it? Tell me, what is it about French women? Why do French women not get fat? I mean, I know that's the name of the book, French Women Don't Get Fat, but why do French women get fat, Marianne?
Well, it's all a mindset. It's all a façon de vivre, a lifestyle. It's not just recipes. It's not only, okay, we're not going to eat. It's a whole way of living. And we call it, the art of eating and the art of living altogether. Because, we really love our food. We have a real passion with it, and we like to share it. And it's not just eating, it's also, and not what to eat, but it's also, how we eat in a general fashion, if you like, that makes it that we do not overeat. And therefore, if we do not overeat, we don't put on weight. And also that thing that we really, without being obsessed with it and weighing ourselves every 5 minutes, we address any weight gain there and then.
Yeah, it's funny because I was thinking about that, because I remember you telling me, I don't even know think it was Christmas, but you said, I've put on a little bit of weight, so I'm going to go on a petit diet or something.
Petit régime, which is mainly you just cut out the things that you may have been indulging in, probably too much bread or too many pastries over Christmas or something. So instead of having pastry every day, or you just have it at the weekend or something like that, and have a soup of an evening instead of having cheese or something like that. You just in French that would be manger des repas allégés, which are lighter meals as opposed to heavy ones. And that doesn't have to last for too long.
If you keep on top of it, it helps a lot, doesn't it? When people talk to you and they ask you about eat, what is the biggest thing? What do you see as the biggest problem for people that come to you, that join your programs on this?
They are usually overweight, but also they feel a certain guilt about the food and overeating. They are snacking. They don't know how to stop snacking. They are overeating generally, and many people do not share their food. Do not take the time to actually relax around food, sit down at the table and eat and actually enjoy it.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because there's an American restaurant not far from where we live, and the portions that they give out, I'm just like, oh my God, John, we still would have left some. And I know one of the things you talk about is just smaller portions, using a smaller plate rather than a bigger plate, because it looks more when it's on a smaller plate. You look like you're eating more. So there's a lot of psychology there, isn't there?
Exactly. In fact, this is what I recommend, because, I recommend reducing the portions, because overeating could be due to just something as simple as having large portions. And an easy way that I found to have, to reducing portion is just by eating from a smaller plate. So therefore, you are bound to have a reduced portion. It is much easier, and also to be eating from really beautiful china, so that you're actually enjoying from eating from a smaller plate, as opposed to being a punishment.
So it's kind of like that whole philosophy of making eating a kind of, what do you call it? Like something you enjoy rather than something you've got to do.
Exactly. And not rushing through it. Take your time, enjoy it, and use the best ingredients. All that is part of the pleasure of eating.
Because you don't stint on what you eat. You don't not eat anything, do you? Because it's fattening or anything. I've seen what you eat. No.
Oh, yes. Because yes, and there's something in it. And it's because a portion is much smaller.
I remember when I was little, my grandma always had a pudding after lunch and a dessert after dinner, always, every day. And my grandma was the same build as you and I, but the portions of everything were just probably a third of the size that they are now, to be perfectly honest, I reckon.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So your program, because this is what I wanted to get you onto the podcast for, because you started this whole Eat Like a French Woman. Is it called Eat Like a French Woman? I actually can't remember.
Yes, it is. Eat Like a French Woman. Yes.
Yeah. So, because we just call it Eat when we're talking, the Eat program. So, Eat Like a French Woman. What made you start that program?
Well, I had a big demand because I'm already doing style, and people starting talking about, I life in France and style, and what about eating French food and everything. It's all, I find it's all part of the same thing about the French lifestyle. And we use actually the same guidelines, which is really, really funny when you think about it. The same guidelines as we have for style, we use them for eating. I had so much demand, which are, the 3 pillars of French chic, which is less is more, keep it simple, and quality, not quantity. And it works. And it's how, I teach that in my Eat program. And I teach that in my style programs too.
Same stuff, just a different topic. It's exactly the same.
Yeah. Simplicity, less is more. I mean, here you go, the portion reduction.
So you had a demand for people to find out about the Eat program, yes, or how to eat. So what does it look like now? What do you do in the program?
The program is huge now. Absolutely huge, because I've been running a few times a year since then, the past 3 or 4 years, live boot camps, workshops, masterclasses. So there is so much material in this program. And it's not just that, because I have also got a private community on Facebook that is really active, and people post, their meals, they're posting, their new china, they are posting even recipes, they're asking questions, or if they are having problems, they're asking for help. And there's such a supportive community that I answer them, of course, but, all the other people who are in it as well. So everybody supports each other. So it's really good.
It's a really good idea, because just having that kind of interaction in the group, because it's not just reliant on you, then everybody else is kind of chipping in, and it becomes a community, doesn't it?
Exactly. And this is what makes it a program that works, because you can buy, courses or read a book, but so very well. But if you haven't got the support, and if you have not got the support at home, or if you haven't got the support of community, it makes things so much harder to succeed. So when people have a problem, or they're not doing too well, they're asking for help, and say, what should I do now? And we will support them.
And it's not about depriving yourself of anything either, is it? It's not about going on a diet. It's not about going out and spending 2 hours a day at the gym, or going for a run, or anything like that, is it?
Not at all. I mean, I call it the French no diet, because it's, you could call it a diet because you lose weight, but it's not a diet. I recently even did a video about the intermittent fasting. And I was reminding my ladies that really, some people even advocate not eating for a couple of days. But I said, when you are eating like a French woman, and normally, which is what we advocate, you actually, when you think of it, you're actually fasting overnight for 8 hours, 10 hours, even 12 hours, depending on what time you finish eating to the time of your breakfast. So we are actually doing that. And this is, break first, you're breaking the fast. And in French, le petit déjeuner, so, le jeûne is fasting. So you actually, stopping the jeûne. So you're actually doing that naturally every day. You don't need to go on long fasting. You don't have to cut out whole groups of food. In France, we have a really wide, we eat from a large variety of foods, and we don't cut out food groups, which is not healthy for you, unless you're on special diets due to, medical conditions. But, that's a side. But no, we encourage people to have a wide variety of food and not actually diets, because diets feel like a punishment also.
Yeah, it's a restriction. You're not free to do the things you enjoy doing. And it's not about that, is it? It's about learning how to really enjoy your food.
Exactly. And diets, I think, could be probably why we say that diets don't work, because, you are so restricted for a period of time, let's say a month, that afterwards, all you think about, really, you become so obsessed with food. All the food you're obsessed with, all the food you can't eat. And at the end, even if you have lost weight, if you have succeeded to lose weight, at the end, many, many people take back on all the weight they've lost even more, because they just, let it all go and gorge almost themselves to the food that they have been punished for a whole month. So, you feel so bad while you're on a diet. Many people feel hungry. Many people feel that, they're eating food they may not enjoy. Some of them even powdered drinks and stuff like that, things that are not real food. Afterwards, they have a crash, let's say.
Tell me some of the stories of people that have come into your group. How were they feeling, and what happened with them?
Yes, some ladies had put on weight over the years. Some had problems with especially problems. Some were snacking too much. And some people wanted to find a reconnection with food. They viewed food because all their lives, they had a different way to look at food. Like they had to eat food quickly, or they were in a hurry. And food was not a main part of their lives. So they want to reconnect with food and how to eat in a healthier manner that makes them happy. So going through the course, it had really changed so much, and almost some paradigm, and it's, oh wow, this passion, this love for food. Now I'm enjoying everything about food, even the shopping about food. I spend more time choosing good produce, good quality ingredients. I spend more time, and I'm enjoying cooking. I no longer do that really quickly. I don't eat on the run anymore. I don't even need to snack, so I stop snacking, that kind of thing. So it has really changed their lives. And it's good to hear some stories of some ladies who said, I am on your program, but my husband and I, my husband has joined me as well. We're doing that now as a family. And they post photos of, they lay the table nicely with a nice tablecloth, beautiful china, and they're showing beautiful food. And they post that in the group. It's really, really beautiful to see that, how it has changed their lives.
Do you do any actual videos of recipes, or do you just put the recipes up there? I know you put photos up, and I know you did for a while, but it actually takes so long to do those videos, the cooking videos. Do you still do them, or do you just talk about it and take photos and stuff?
Yeah, I did a few videos, recipe videos, but as you know, it is so much. It is a big production, really, really big production, and the preparation is big. The actual shooting has got so many parts of it, and the editing, it's just really unfeasible for me at this time anyway to do that regularly. So I've got a few there which are posted into the e-course, but the EAT program. The beauty of the EAT program actually is not so much about what you eat, or even my recipes. It is the how to eat. So everybody can apply it with what they eat. As long as they apply the guidelines of how they eat, they can eat their food. It doesn't matter, which recipes they use or the type of food they're eating. They can apply those French guidelines onto what they eat. So, I don't mind posting a recipe now and again, but it is more of the way you eat that is important, really.
That's actually a really good point, because culturally, if you look at the Germans have got a completely different diet to the French or the Italians or the English, definitely the English. But if you apply those same principles, you can keep eating the food that you're used to cooking, just in a different way. Yeah,
exactly. Yes. Yeah. So, as long as you reduce portion, and you stop the snacking and all the other guidelines, there are many little parts of it. It's not just, do this, but there are many little parts that you need to apply that all work together, that will actually, at the end, if you apply that, you will lose weight. There's no two ways about it, unless, you have a special condition. But the thing is, everybody knows, really, if you eat less, you will lose weight. It's true. It's true. But we do it in a way that is enjoyable without thinking about, losing the weight. You still enjoy the food that you love eating, but in smaller quantity.
I didn't realize snacking was such a big problem. I honestly thought it was just the types of food and the amount of food. I didn't realize that, because I have my dinner at night and 6, 7 o'clock, and then I don't eat till probably 8, 9 o'clock the following morning. But that's just normal for me. I didn't realize that people have snacks in between those times. Rich?
Yes, some people have a mid-morning snacks, and they can snack again in the afternoon, maybe a couple of snacks in the afternoon. And some people even snack after their evening meal. So, and because the snacking is usually done as a habit, things that happen, a few steps happen and then you snack. For instance, you have a snack with your coffee, or you're eating something in the car while you're going somewhere. Every day you're always doing the same thing. Or eating something on the way to, or buying a snack when you buy a newspaper or something. So these mindless ways of eating, you don't really realize you're doing it, and it's become a habit. And you're always doing it. That is why the habits, they are so difficult to stop. But many people don't actually count that as what they have eaten, because they forget. It's only one little thing, doesn't count. But at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the month, at the end of the year, that amounts to a lot of food eaten. But you suddenly stop that, then you will notice a change in your weight.
I know for me personally, if I'm snacking, I don't feel good. So I know for a while I was a real grazer. I didn't have big meals. I just kind of grazed my way through the day, and that worked for me for a while. But then there came a time when it didn't work, and I had to really kind of divide the food into 3 meals, because that was the only way my body could deal with it, because we all change. And that's the other thing, isn't it? Is it about listening to your body, learning how to listen to your body and adapt to it as well?
Definitely. And I teach that as well. It's listening to your body, because so there's a section on the program about that, listening to your body. And many women have told me it has opened my eyes. Yes, I didn't even listen to my body. I was full and I continued eating. I felt bloated, but I continued eating. So all these things, people are no longer listening to their bodies, because the amount of food they have been used to eating led them to believe, well, that's what I've got to continue eating. But even though their bodies, telling them, oh, I'm completely full, I'm bloated, I can't take it anymore, but they continued. So, eating mindfully makes a big difference.
And it goes against the teaching that from when I was growing up, it's like, clean your plate. Don't leave anything on your plate. The children in Africa starving.
Yes, exactly. And that is a habit. It's even more than a habit. I mean, it's a lifelong way to do things. You have been taught when you were a child. That is very, very difficult to stop. And many people have been brought up like that. And it's so difficult to stop that one. Yeah.
The other one that I was taught was, you eat what you don't like first, so that by the time you get to what you do like, you're going to finish it anyway, and it helps you clear your plate.
I never thought of that, because what I don't eat, what I don't like, I don't eat. I don't put on my plate things I don't eat, I don't like.
No, that's right. So as we're older, we don't do that. But I still do the whole, okay, which do I like the least? Okay, I need to eat that.
Oh,
I don't like it.
oh right, okay.
First. So the stuff, the really yummy stuff, whatever it is, that goes in last, even though I might be full by that time.
Well, there could be something for that, because we have desserts at the end of the meal. That's usually what you like the best.
That's right.
I certainly do. I love my desserts. When I went to Paris a couple of months ago, I went to the macaron la durée, to La Durée. I don't know if you heard. I've heard of them. And they served me the hot chocolate, but it was so thick. Oh, it was like almost solid. It was like they've melted a tablet of chocolate into the pot, and I did some cream with it, and it just like, I couldn't even drink a whole cup. It was so thick. I was thinking, oh, I'm going to be sick. It was so rich. But we don't do at home. We don't do the hot chocolate like that. It's just too much.
I was going to say, how sweet was it? Because I remember French chocolate as being, I mean, I don't remember it as being particularly sweet. I always drank cocoa, and still do, not hot chocolate, which, for those of you who don't know what cocoa is, it's like hot chocolate without all the sugar. It's just literally chocolate powder with no sugar in. And I like that slight bitterness. And I found, from when I remember being in France, which admittedly is like 30 years ago, it wasn't as sweet. It was a little bit sweet, but it wasn't like eating a bar of chocolate, for sure.
Yes, I'm wondering if that could be maybe for visitors to Paris who want to try that, but really, at home we would not drink hot chocolate like that. To me, it was almost undrinkable. It was too thick, far too rich, far too sweet. Not something. My mum used to make us a hot chocolate the traditional way. So she would melt some hot chocolate, from the tablet of chocolat with some milk, and that's how we had it. So it's much lighter, not as thick, obviously, not as thick. But just made with milk. But it was done only for birthdays or for very special occasions. We don't have that every day. But the children can have un bol de chocolat. In the morning, for instance, it's going to be milk and the chocolate powder, special ones you buy in the shops. So, to dilute in it, but not the actual melted chocolate tablet every day. You can't have that. It's just far too rich, far too much. No, people don't have that. Only on special occasions.
We used to do that. There's a chocolate factory in Western Australia, the Margaret River Chocolate Factory, and they make hot chocolate like that, because they have the little chocolate buttons, and they put them in the cup first and then pour the hot milk over them, and then you stir it and melt it. It's nice. Yes. But I like the dark chocolate one because it's not as sweet. So tell me about your eat course.
I will be running a live boot camp in early January.
That's right, you will. Yes. Right after Christmas.
Exactly, for all those ladies who have overeaten and would like to lose some weight and restart a good way to eat for the new year. They will be able to join. So my special boot camp, I don't know the name yet, but no worries. It will be a boot camp over a week, maybe 5 or 6 calls. 5 calls the first week. Start on a Tuesday, and another call the week after. So we'll have 4 calls the first week, and maybe a call the week after to see how they've been getting on. So plenty of support in the group, because in the Facebook community that I have for that course, this is where I run all my live events, all my live masterclasses, boot camp, and etc. and workshops. So we do everything live in there, and the calls are recorded and added into the actual program later. So even if you cannot join live, you can still watch the recording later. And there will be, lots of participation, and all the students who are already in the EAT program are always added in for free in all my new boot camps and workshops. They love participating in everything new.
So it's not just like a week-long program, is it? The boot camp's not just like a week-long program. The boot camp is to kind of kickstart you into the program that's ongoing. You just keep going with it as long as you want. You got access to everything all the time.
Oh yes, exactly. So the EAT program is you have lifetime access to the program, but regularly I add those live classes. So to lose weight or something to remind you of all the guidelines, whatever the topic, and then you're always participating in something new, in something live to remind you, okay, let's do this again. Because some people, fall off the wagon, so to speak, and they need this little refresher now and again.
I think we do. What I really like about it is it's not like, okay, let's get into the new year and do this big detox and go on a diet and start at the gym. A friend of mine said to me, I've just paid for the world's most expensive gym membership because it cost me $650 for one visit. I never went for the rest of the year.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yes, that's right. The gym's like for you to pay for the whole year because they know you're not going to go after January.
But that's what I really like about the EAT program, because you don't just go and you don't do a week or even 2 or 3 months. It's there to support. Because it's about changing the lifestyle.
Exactly. You change basically your whole life. That it has such a big impact on people's lives, unbelievable. And when I first created it, I had not actually, because it's such a part of how I live, I had not actually realized the impact it would have on other people who were not actually doing that. It has changed their lives, and I receive comments all the time, and emails, and people in the group actually mentioned that it just changed everything. I never thought it would have that much impact.
We had so many conversations, and you're going, no. People aren't going to be interested in that. They don't style on like Marianne. Seriously, it's not about how you eat.
Exactly, because when you live like that, you don't realize. Okay, but that's how we've always done it. I didn't know anything different. Yeah.
But it's the same with the style thing as well, because one of the things that I really admire in what you do is that it doesn't matter who the person is. There is a style that will make them feel good and look good, and they don't have to be tall and skinny to do that. And going off on a bit of a tangent there, the biggest problem you've had in all the years that I've known you is getting photographs of older women to go on all of the graphics, because you can't get photos of older women looking nice. They're just not available.
No,
which is pretty awful.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And I had something, I remember I've got a program called Dress 10 Years Younger, but the lady is so young. And I was talking to a couple of ladies, but, why didn't you pick, somebody of our age in the 50s? I said, but I just can't find those photos. I just can't find copyright-free photos of this lady. So maybe I should take a photograph of me instead. I don't know. But it wouldn't be as nice.
I agree with you. It's like when I look for photographs, because my group obviously is menopause, marriage and motherhood. When I look for photographs, you've either got women in their 20s and 30s, or you've got grey-haired older women. But there's not that in-between age. And it's like, okay, there's either retired people or there's young people. There's no kind of midlife women anywhere. It's like we're invisible, and we're invisible in the shops as well. There's no clothes shops for clothes. I mean, France is a little bit different. I'm talking about Australia here and the UK. No clothes shops for women our age that make you look good. It's all about hiding. Let's hide.
Right.
And it's difficult to move beyond that.
It is difficult. It's as if, at 50-year-old, you have to decide which camp you want to be in. Do you want to be in the camp of a 20 or 30-year-old wearing, hot pants? or do you want to be in the camps of the 80 plus ladies who, I don't know, you want to hide everything. I don't know. It's just difficult in the shops. definitely.
It is, but it's also a reflection of the eating as well, because it's like when you get to a certain age, the entire fashion industry expects you to be overweight. So that's what they provide for you: overweight clothes. There's nothing that actually makes you proud of who you are, and that's what you do with the eat and with the style thing, is about just psychologically making you feel proud of yourself.
Exactly, and there's something else that people are surprised when I talk about clothes to wear when you eat. People don't expect that, because
what clothes do you wear to eat?
that would make a difference. When I have to have to join the course to find out. But yes, it does have an impact. Yeah.
Wow, isn't that interesting? I would never think of wearing a particular set of clothes to eat. I think, I mean, you know what I'm like. I'm dressed up today. Can you see? I've got a nice
yes.
Really but normally, really, you know what I'm like. I'm in my gym kit usually because it's comfortable for when I'm working on my laptop.
No, but not when you eat.
But going back to what you were saying about stopping eating, that was the other thing I was going to say earlier. I've got a friend of mine and her husband, we were out one night, the four of us, and her husband said, I don't know how you can leave stuff on your plate. Why can you stay so skinny and why can you leave stuff on your plate? She said, well, it's really simple. I stop eating when I'm full. Like, that's it. As soon as I feel myself start getting full, I put my knife fork down and I don't eat anymore. Whereas he'd finish off everything, you know?
Yes, and then, again, you know, it's a question of listening to your body, and even, you know, stopping eating when you start feeling full, just before you are full, because by the time, you know, the message of your stomach, you know, sending it to your brain takes about 20 minutes. So imagine that's 20 minutes extra, especially if you eat fast. That's 20 minutes extra to eat. So yes, you have to listen to your body.
The glass of water as well was a big one for me. That your body misinterprets thirst for hunger, doesn't it?
Exactly. That's something else I teach as well. Water is very important in the way we eat in France.
You've got the boot camp starting early January, the Tuesday after New Year. But the boot camp is, you can join the EAT program anytime. So anybody that's listening to this, you can join the EAT program at any time. And all of this information that we're talking about, if you join in March, April, May, it will all be there for you to join. And it will, you do live streams regularly in that group, don't you? You do Q&As in that
group. Regular live runs, like workshop, live masterclasses regularly. Definitely. And as I said, you know, all the students who have already enrolled, no matter when they have enrolled, always have free access to all new live workshop, live masterclasses, live everything.
On the webpage that goes with this podcast or on the YouTube links, I will put up a link to Marianne's program and to Marianne on Facebook. So I'll put all of those links on the website. But you've also got a freebie to give away, haven't you?
That's right. I've got 9 reasons why you don't lose weight. So this is a free download. That's very interesting.
It must be, because like I'm going, okay, how many have we covered today? It's nowhere near 9. So I'd be really fascinated to find out what the other ones are.
But I'm thinking of adding 3 more that are not in that one. Yeah, 9 is not enough. There's 3 more I need to put in.
Does that come from your experience with the people in the group, what they've said? Is that how you found out about all this stuff?
Yes, and also, you know, the different way to eat that people eat, and you know, they tell me, you know, I'm overweight, let's say, or even if they're not overweight, they're eating a certain way that is not, they feel it's not healthy for them, doesn't serve them. They feel that they don't enjoy the food they eat. They just eat because they have to eat. And
give
many
me an
people
example
also,
of that. What would they be eating just because they had to eat?
Not what they eat, but how they eat. They're eating, for instance, too fast or in front of the television, and then not actually realizing what they're eating. That's a way to eat that many people eat like that.
Yeah, I quite often do. I'll sit in front of the telly, especially if I'm by myself. I'll sit in front of the telly
Yes.
and eat. Yeah, rather than, or my other favourite one is standing at the kitchen bench to eat.
No.
I do.
Oh, no. Eat at the table, Karen. Sit down and eat.
If I make something like, I made these sweet corn and halloumi fritters this morning, which are really nice, but I always make enough for a couple of days breakfast. Unfortunately, I never make it to the second day because I spend the day picking at them and eating them.
No snacking, Karen.
I know, no snacking. So I'm not eating lunch. I'm just grazing on these blooming sweet corn fritters all day.
They're too nice. They're too
They
nice.
are. Keely said to me, "Don't make them very often, Mum, because I eat too many."
Only make them on Sunday.
I know I spoke before about people could join the EAT program anytime, but obviously it's better if they join New Year so that they get the benefit of being able to go on those live streams and catch those live streams. You can join anytime, but it's much better if you're on the live stream so you can ask questions, because people can ask you questions, can't they?
Exactly. Yes, that's the beauty of the live classes. People are there, and they can ask questions, they can comment, and I reply to their questions specifically. Or if there is no time to answer the question, I can do later on a live Q&A. So that's always helpful.
Yeah. So, ladies, join Marianne's EAT program if you want to learn how to eat like a French woman and stay slim.
Exactly. I look forward to seeing you all, ladies.
Thank you so much, Marianne. I really appreciate it. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, and stay warm. We were laughing. I've got to say this. We were laughing before we started recording because here I've got the air conditioning on and it's like, I think it's 32 degrees outside, and Marianne's had to find a light because the sun's still not up where she is and it's absolutely freezing, and they've been flooded and all sorts of things. So we're polar opposites where we are in the world.
Well, thank you very much, Karen, for having me on your podcast. It was a real pleasure, as usual. And I look forward to welcoming all new students to the EAT program.
Yeah, this is a great way to start off a year without being New Year's resolution about it, because we all fail at New Year's resolutions. This is about changing your lifestyle, and changing who you are for yourself, for sure. So thanks, Marianne. Have a happy New Year, a wonderful 2021.
Thank you. You too. All the best for next year.
Thanks for joining us this week on Menopause, Marriage and Motherhood. Make sure you visit our website, middleagedwomenstuff.com, where you can subscribe to the show in any of the players or via RSS so you'll never miss a thing. If you liked this show, you might want to check out the webpage, which gives you lots more information about both our host and our guest, along with heaps of other resources. Be sure to tune in every Tuesday and Friday for the next episode. And that's all for this episode. We can't wait to see you next time.